From a planned winner's feet actually scraping the floor first, to dopey sidekicks not ensuring their bodies remained inside of the ring until their starring moment. These Royal Rumble detours very nearly derailed the entire match in one unexpected beat. I'm Gareth from What Culture Wrestling, and here are 10 last-minute WWE disasters that came so close to ruining Royal Rumbles. Number 10, Shawn Michaels gets his face smashed in. 2008. Upon Hardcore Holly's typically aggressive arrival, the bleach blonde ass-kicker proceeded to stomp HBK in the mug so hard that it legitimately busted open Michaels in next to no time. Sensing something was up, the former WWE champion clung onto his mug and crawled into the corner to confer with medical personnel. Sensing he had no choice but to power on and do his part in the contest, Michaels stayed put and wrestled on for 30 more minutes with a busted up nose, notably eliminating The Undertaker in what was one of the earliest nods to their eventual Mania epics. Number 9, Beth Phoenix won't let a little blood stop her doing her job. 2020. Beth Phoenix quite simply isn't built like most human beings. Despite spending the majority of her time away from the squared circle since calling time on her full-time career in 2012, the former women's champion has frequently picked right back up where she left off in recent years. Another excellent showing at Mania 35 was ultimately followed by a welcome comeback during the 2020 Royal Rumble match. But it was during this particular return when things started to stray from the original plan. Phoenix was scheduled to be one of the feature players in said women's showcase, making the not-so-insignificant gash she'd picked up on the back of her head early into her appearance at number 19 a bit of an issue. But no matter, the crimson streaks that would become more prominent in her golden locks as the match wore on, and no doubt searing pain, would not stop this glamazon from staying around long enough to play her role in the Santina Marella payoff and elimination their unexpected and largely unwanted appearance most definitely needed. Bless you, Beth. Number 8, Dan Severn threatens to go legit. 1999. UFC Hall of Famer Dan Severn still doesn't strike you as the sort of person you go out of your way to provoke at the best of times. But during his heyday around the late 90s, threatening this legitimate ass-kicker with the prospect of racking up a string of losses within the professional wrestling sphere was borderline lunacy. Yeah, that's precisely what went down coming into the 1999 Royal Rumble, after Severn requested his release from WWE following on from being asked to tattoo 666 on his forehead and join the Ministry of Darkness. It was in this moment, though, that the MMA legend pitched to the agent in question an alternative scenario where he turned fantasy into reality. Going further, he later revealed that he almost got on the ringer to WCW to see what they'd be willing to pay him to derail the entire bout. Thankfully, WWE backed off, Severn played nice in the Rumble, and was allowed to walk away a few months on, but not before forcing a few clenched cheeks coming into the famous event. Number 7, CM Punk gets KO'd by Kofi Kingston. 2014. It had long seemed as though 2014's infamous Royal Rumble event would mark CM Punk's last ever appearance inside of a squared circle, and it's not hard to see why. The voice of the voiceless found himself being sparked out early into his eventual 50-minute showcase during the titular 30-person over-the-top rope brawl. Old pal Kofi Kingston was the unfortunate distributor of this KO, coming on the back of a dodgy flying clothesline, and this unanticipated injury immediately threw Punk's involvement in the contest into doubt. The former WWE champion was destined to play a pivotal part in the closing stages. However, Kane was prepared to eliminate the rocked star early, before Punk told him where to go. So the planned angle between the two ultimately went ahead, with Punk later being taken out and dumped through a table for good measure. Number 6, Maven gets pissed before his big moment. 2002. In a moment that no doubt ranks as one of the most notable feats any Tough Enough winner ever managed to achieve on a WWE stage. 2002 saw one of the first ever victors of the reality show, Maven, eliminate the iconic Dead Man from the Royal Rumble. But there was much more to this crowd-stunning beat than meets the eye as it goes. In order to achieve some good color during the pair's post-match beatdown sequence, Taker was said to have told Maven to take some aspirin to thin his blood out. As the newcomer would reveal to Fightful in 2019, he was actually allergic to the medication, so was handed some Jack Daniels as a handy substitute. As expected, Maven wound up feeling a little bit hammered throughout his Rumble appearance, eventually revealing, "I'm shocked as F that I actually hit the dropkick. But I'm glad I did. It's a minor miracle Maven didn't completely cock up one of the most shocking exchanges in Rumble history in his drunken state. But at least his nerves were likely settled coming into the match. Number 5, The Rock's feet touched the ground first. 2000. If not for some unexpectedly brilliant camera work and quick thinking, arguably one of the Great One's finest ever WWE achievements would have likely been rendered a bit of an embarrassment, on the back of an admittedly pulsating finish. Coming during the 2000 Royal Rumble showdown, that year's final two was made up of the monstrous Big Show and the people's favourite, The Rock. But just as it looked as though Rocky was destined to be dramatically dumped, the eventual Hollywood megastar only went and pulled a fast one, low-bridging the Giant out of the match to book his place in the Mania main event. Those watching in the arena, however, were quick to note that Rock's feet had actually scraped the ground first, something folks watching at home were sheltered from in order to ensure WWE could milk the crowd-pleasing win for all it was worth. This epic blunder would later be incorporated into storyline, and Rock would lose and win back his title shot at the show of shows over the coming weeks. Number 4, Alex Riley slips and slides at the wrong time, 2011. It's not every year you're gifted the honor of throwing the biggest star in the industry out of one of the most highly anticipated matches on the calendar. In the case of Alex Riley, though, this task was never actually fulfilled during the first ever 40-person Rumble in 2011, and he sadly only has one person to blame. With Riley jostling with WWE Titan John Cena and future WWE Champion Kofi Kingston in the corner of the ring, The Miz's right-hand man was soon hoisted over the top rope by Super Cena. Instead of wiggling his way back into the mix and ensuring he was in position to shock the world later in the day, though, Riley hilariously lost his footing. What followed was a stunned Cena staring into the middle distance, quickly trying to figure out how to salvage the match after this accidental shift in direction. The Miz simply costing Cena his place during the eventual Final Four made for a decent enough plan B, yet it still couldn't mask the embarrassment Riley no doubt felt on the back of fumbling his one vital job. You literally had one job, mate. Number 3, Stone Cold Steve Austin is eliminated too early, 1996. Speaking of falling out of the all-important battle of many a bruiser before their time, 1996 saw a certain Texas rattlesnake not make the best of first impressions during his first ever Rumble appearance. Fatu, later known as Rikishi, was squaring off against Austin 10 minutes into the latter's showing, but instead of knocking the future Stone Cold over the ropes in a way that would allow him to easily roll back into the match, the collection of baby oil and sweat shared between the pair resulted in Austin losing his grip and going for a tumble way too soon. Next to nobody even clocked the elimination as it went down in the background on the night, but it likely caused a serious rethink in the heat of battle, and very nearly tarnished an otherwise memorable Rumble. Number 2, Randy Savage forgets what match he's in, 1992. Moments after hurling bitter rival Jake the Snake Roberts out of the match in the 92 Rumble, the Macho Man went and performed one of the few cardinal no-nos hot on the heels of the elimination. He hopped over the top rope to continue his assault on Roberts. Quickly sensing he'd made a pig's ear out of the entire situation, an awkward Savage was launched back into the ring by The Undertaker, and Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby Heenan would paper over this embarrassing crack by confessing that a star must be thrown by another competitor in order to be officially booted out of the match. Crisis just about averted, sort of. Another habit Savage struggled to shake in this setting was the urge to pin his fellow man, evidenced in a foolish attempt to pin Yokozuna, resulting in his elimination a year later. Just never quite got the grasp of the whole Royal Rumble thing, did he? Number 1, Batista has a nightmare, 2005. As the 2005 edition of the January WWE staple came into view, it was virtually guaranteed that either Evolution's Batista or Blue Show anti-hero John Cena would have their hand raised as the dust settled on the Rumble. Everything was moving along swimmingly, as Batista hoisted up his SmackDown counterpart for a Rumble-winning Batista bomb. But then something genuinely shocking came to pass, as the universe conspired to spice up the closing stages. Batista would stumble backwards, sending both men flying over the top and crashing to the ground in unison. Despite looking about as cleanly choreographed as anything you'd seen all night, none of this was scheduled to happen, forcing Vinnie Mac out to orchestrate a restart, battering his quads in the process. The two eventual pillars of the company for years to come would work the crowd brilliantly post-botch, ultimately washing away the mistake with a sickening spinebuster from the animal that finally confirmed his Mania spot. Simply put, you could not write it. Or could you? No, seriously, you probably couldn't. And that's our list of any other last-minute WWE disasters that came so close to ruining Royal Rumbles. Let us know all about them in the comment section right down below, and do not forget to like, share, and click on that subscribe button. Also, be sure to head on over to whatculture.com and find some more incredible articles just like the one this video you are watching is based on. I've been Gareth from What Culture Wrestling. Thank you, as always, for clicking on this video today, and I'm sure I'll see you very, very soon. Bye-bye.